Could have been a potentially fatal blow to Negan. Go ahead. Yeah.
Can I back up a second? We find out afterward. So, okay, he does the 10 seconds. I know I'm skipping ahead, but it kind of goes to my point. So at this point, we're only kind of seeing it from their perspective. It's really tight. The shot's really tight, and he wants, Rick wants his 10 seconds. And Negan's gonna give it to him, and then after he slashes his throat, we turn around and we find out they're all standing like right there.
So both groups, like the Saviors and the right.
So because I thought the same thing too, and then after the reveal, I thought, okay, well maybe part of what Negan wanted his 10 seconds for, what agreed to it was either one, he saw like he's about to get overrun, anyway, or two, maybe this buys him some time to think, like, okay, how can I get out of this, or how can I maneuver myself out of this, because I'm seeing Rick in front of me, and then his entire crew like right behind them, and it wasn't apparent.
Carl.
Well, and then there's that too.
When he shot it, it looks like he was.
But yeah, it wasn't apparent that was going on until after the fact. So to me, it helped because I was thinking the same thing. Like Negan's, no, they're just gonna go head to head. But Negan's also a survivor, and he wants to always find a way out or a way to keep going. And so again, I thought after the fact that maybe this was his way. This 10 seconds was a way for him to buy more time or to think of a way out or a plan or something.
Yeah, I thought in all the ways it did follow the book in this finale, that this fight in particular should have followed the book more.
Agreed.
Because there were like things in that were just very cool and emotional, like kind of thing. I remember reading it, and then I see it played out on the show, and it just didn't have that impact for me at all. So. Sorry to be a downer.
No, I agree.
I mentioned the Carl thing as far as him dying closer to this finale than to also that whole hilltop battle. That was like at least 2 days right there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been like 5 days since Carl died. Like it's not regardless. What I'm getting at as far as Carl's impact on this is it shows so much more as being just done for the sake of shock value and whatever other behind the scenes stuff that happening. That it doesn't register as anything important. So we talk about this Negan having feelings for Carl. It never makes any sense to me every time it pops up. And it pops up at the times that should make it matter. I should care about this. I should care about the fact that Negan wants to hear Rick out, or Negan has a real vendetta against this whole thing. But because instead of giving us like Carl like saying these last thoughts to Rick himself, we got these crappy note things that just mean nothing to me. It just has there's no impact here. There's nothing about this character that like makes me think, oh man, I really feel like I lost something once we lost Carl. Because Carl just hasn't done anything enough to in the most recent seasons beyond just being a character on the show. Right? I just don't care. I don't care about anything happening. So the stakes just seem so low for this, except for two bros are gonna bro down for the last time before they can stop broing against each other.
Agreed.
I wonder if it would have mattered more if they, instead of killing Carl off like they did, had him dying, but then he goes off to stop his father from killing Negan.
Something like that makes him seem like more of a presence. Yeah.
Yeah, like he's about to go. Like he didn't even have to be dying of the zombie thing. He could just be dying for something else, whatever it is. Yeah. And he just and Michonne is like, they're going off to fight. He wants to go. He can't. They won't let him go. And then he goes off on his own anyway. And he reaches him before he's about to do it.
Carl would never wander off on his own.
If he got Gabriel disease or something, he was just dying from that, so he could like still be around.
Right. And that would be the thing. It'd be like that. Don't do it. It would kind of have the weight to it. I could see Negan maybe.
Or even if Simon had killed him, then Negan would have felt responsible.
Oh yeah, that could be another thing where he was killed by Simon. Yeah.
The randomness of Carl's death is what really doesn't help either. It's just like the kid that's been one of the more efficient killers on the show just got bit by a zombie once. Like, okay.
Right. Or that would be, but maybe Simon was responsible for it. If it would have been something if Simon had said that's why the kid needed to die or something under his breath. Then Negan could respond to that like what, and it could have been a moment.
Yeah, something to fire up more than just he had a note and he just heard someone talk about it.
He ate spaghetti with him once.
Right. It just doesn't. They never sold that. Like that's always been a running joke about how he loves his kid that he was about to kill. Like, but he never sold it. Like they could have even gave him a kid or something. Like he had a kid and he lost a kid when the plague happened.
Yeah, somebody's give it more weight, or to at least put the onus on Negan to like feel a little more about Carl.
Right.
That's why if Simon had killed him, at least he would have felt somewhat responsible because Simon's his crew.
I would have liked it. I wouldn't have liked it, but it would have been a stronger impact on Simon and on his like his upcoming death because it would have took him out.
Like Simon gets like a kill shot in and like Carl's this is so horrible. Carl's like slowly dying in this episode or something. Just any of these things. Or obviously the other thing is Negan dies this episode, which also would leave some good impact at least too. Like,
I thought that all the stuff with the contract stuff, it was all just a game to get us to not to throw us off because I really thought they're gonna kill him.
Yeah, they would have certainly put the period on this all-out war thing before they jumped or whatever the next season, and it would have really like showed some. I'm sorry, it would have really showed like some finality to the storyline rather than now there's gonna be this whole. Well, I mean, we'll get to it. There'll be the whole Maggie wanting revenge, a little secret society, and
because you fooled me if you do that. Like, and I think I even called it that will probably be the next problem for next season will be keeping each other from going off the rails before the other group comes.
But looking at the series as a whole, I mean, these major moments, despite certain characters still being alive or certain ones that don't exist being involved, they've pretty much followed the comic beat for beat in that regard. As far as the governor, Negan now, the prison stuff, things got shifted around a bit, specifically with Florrie and the baby. But for the most part, like things, Negan's introduction by killing Glenn, obviously the Abraham thing was a new one, but I mean, everything's kind of living up to a level of expectation that the comic readers at least know. I mean, obviously there are fans of the show that don't read the comics on that, so it's somewhat surprising to them. But it's hard to have certain expectations at this point when it keeps kind of going in line with some of the major beats of the comics.
But every major beat you just met, and I don't want to be this guy, it was better in the book or whatever, but every single beat you just mentioned seemed more effective in the comic to me than in the show. And I don't know if that's the writing, the pacing, or what. I don't know. I'm trying not to sound like Debbie Downer, but I mean, like all those things seem to have more weight to them in the book. I mean, not because I read it first in the book, but because of the way they're implemented on the show. They could have been just as cool in the show as in the book, but they just weren't. Especially this.
For the most part, I agree. I mean, it's not a matter. Like I've watched plenty of things that have been adapted from other things where the source material makes no matter to me as long as you're making a good movie, video game, film, what have you. But yeah, no, there's a lot of things here where it's like, yeah, I see what you did, and that's a way to do it, I guess. But yeah, it didn't leave me with the. I was upset when Glenn died in the books. Like that made me legitimately for a graphic novel. Yeah. I did not feel good after reading that. And this is just like, well, that was just a bad episode, and that happened also in it. Like that was my reaction to that. You know that. And the same kind of thing is here. It's like, okay, so this is how All Out War is going to end in the books, and I got to think about that and dwell on the ideas. Like, okay, that was actually an interesting way to go about things. But in the show, it's like, yeah, all right, you built that up, I guess.
Did any of you think that? Well, I mean, it makes no sense. We all knew Negan was coming back, right? So no one thought he was dead here, right? I mean, nobody.
We didn't necessarily. I didn't like Daryl. You were saying. I mean, it could have been all smoke. Like it could have been.
Yeah.
I think it would have been great if it had been.
Right.
I thought for a hot minute that he killed him. Like
You did.
Just
Okay, so you really did.
I did because
wow, okay.
because it was so quick and swift.
Hmm.
And given and I guess this is maybe what betrays it a little bit, but given the headspace Rick was in and the fact that he's in this betrayal mode and what he did in a few episodes back, I was like, oh, he totally wanted to use his kid to lull Negan into a false sense of security, and then just took him out. I really thought he was dead.
Wow.
That would have made Rick more interesting.
It would have been quite a surprise plot-wise.
Right. Well, at this point, Rick has the upper hand. Negan is dying. He's bleeding through his throat, but he tells everyone that's watching basically this is over. And
All this is just what was.
Exactly. He tells Sadiq to go save him, and at that point, Maggie just starts flipping out, and I don't blame her. You know, she was great, and she's like, no, he has to die. He has to die. I think I have a clip of it right here. Let me see if I can play it.
Yeah.
And she's great.
Her screaming was primal.
And Michonne's holding her.
Yeah.
It had me tearing up.
Rick.
We lost. There's got to be something else.
Right, Daryl?
Yeah.
Once we have them up, put your hands down.
Put him down. I'm around.
We're all gonna go home now.
We're all gonna sing. Come on.
I'll make chili.
Get your
Gotta
dog.
be
He's alive.
I'm gonna show you how to make good spaghetti. Come on.
The thing I wanted to get to involving all this is that Laura character.
Mm.
When she revealed Dwight last week, didn't she say something along the lines? The only thing that kept me going was knowing that I could rat you out to Negan
Right.
because I'm Negan.
Exactly.
I'm the most Negan there is. Look how Negan I am. Cut me and I bleed Negan. Like all that. And this week she's like, all right, we give up. That's it.
I'm
Like,
playing
I was
Marbles.
done.
I'm playing
Yeah.
Marbles now, so
I knew that's what you meant because
I'm just master of Negan right here, and I gotta
Yeah,
say, like we lost one battle, so clearly we're done. Like that's it.
there's no backstory.
Live with that. We'll pay the price. I promise.
There's
I promise you.
I promise you. You use too much cheese on your spaghetti.
I gave you this speech. We already gave up.
You eat all the garlic bread, I'm gonna kill you.
Garlic bread.
We'll fill it out. Be a Potter or be a Rick again. We get jackets.
Oh, that's great.
Fairness.
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 Oh, yeah, sure, yeah, we gave up.
One plate, one meatball.
Just
That's
a lot to speak fine because we can already. He can keep talking, I guess. But yeah, okay.
We are live. That's them.
Yeah,
That's
and
right.
then we see the herd. It is quite big. Actually, in the shot, it's humongous. I mean,
There's ketchup and water and then gravy.
Walker's big. Yeah, those are bad. And he was all about hating Walkers too. So we're on board with Walker. That's good. Yeah.
actually, he has some pretty elaborate ways of diverting them. Didn't Fat Joey have this whole highway system set up to protect
Yep.
them, right? Yeah.
Sure did.
Yeah, look at that, Joey.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Fat Joey.
I know.
For us. Unless we stand together.
You get that?
Together.
You get that?
I love it. I love it. Cracking up. I love it.
Because when we were with Negan, we were kneeling. We're not kneeling. We can stand. We're
We can stand together because
Stand up.
this is life and that's death over there.
That's right.
No, because we give up. Just making that clear. I'm not Negan.
Yeah,
I'm
like,
not
your hands
Negan.
are down. I'm Rick now. I'm not Negan anymore. I'm Rick. I'm Rick. Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry.
Rick, is that what we're doing?
Rick and
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
alive. He's dead.
He's dead.
Don't make him a Rick. I didn't say that whatsoever. You give up. Good.
We're the future. He's the past.
I love the future. The future. We can't live all that.
That's great. They're all standing there. I mean, I thought it was a cool moment. I really did. 'Cause it
They
really,
could add another 20 minutes of him just talking to the group.
could you have seen 3 commercial breaks of just this? You could, right, Daryl? You could, right? I know.
And everybody in the group is whispering, is he done yet? Like, why is he still talking? And then somebody whispers, Negan's already dead. He's bled out. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, I'll let that out.
They tried to save him.
They cut over to Sadiq and he just shaking his head no.
No.
He kept talking. He's dead.
He's over the body.
Like, oops.
So before this,
Go home.
Go home, he says.
Then
Go
the
home.
begins
Then the work begins.
The new world.
Clean yourself up. You all smell like ass.
Especially my feet.
All this.
Go out and slide your fingers.
Change your shoes.
great. The voice layers at the hilltop. We got some wedding things we got next up here. So Negan thing.
That's right.
So anyway, I thought it was good though. It brought everyone together on this together on this hilltop. And it is silly to be fighting each other. It's like, come on, why are we doing this? It makes absolutely no sense. I think Rick is 100% right. I know it took a long time to get to this point, but Negan's way of doing things was wrong. Ultimately, even though they tried to redeem him a little bit towards the end. But why? We are alive. We should not be fighting each other. We should be fighting the dead are the enemy. But that's the problem. And that's the whole idea here, which I think is, I don't know, it's pretty cool. It's a cool moment of the show. I mean,
if they had that woman, instead of being the one that pointed fingers, if they had that woman talking amongst the workers saying, we don't have to be, like, it doesn't have to be that drastic. Like, we don't have to do it this way. If she could have said that to Eugene when she had Eugene scenes back in the day. Like, it's almost like they don't think it through with some of these characters to earn moments.
well, so Dwight had second guesses, second thoughts, right? That was his
yeah,
role.
but,
Yeah.
but we never got her saying anything to Eugene or whatever when Negan wasn't around. Like, like, okay, you're scared of Negan, so that's why you'll say certain things. But we never got her, saying anything other than I'm Negan. I bleed Negan. Like I am, like so.
Because the thing is they have portrayed the saviors as nothing but sheep in this entire 2 seasons. Because I mean, you've seen it just in the last few episodes. They think Negan's dead. Simon steps in and fills that void, and they just follow
Well,
right along.
versions.
And then Negan shows back up, kills Simon. They fall right back in line behind him.
There's
Now,
two versions. There was the killer saviors that we were all afraid of at the beginning of the arc, and now they're the sheep saviors that aren't doing nothing.
right.
And
Well, I'm just saying,
the ones that
because
don't
now Rick defeats Negan, and now they're like, oh well, Rick, he's right. We'll go forward together.
Yeah, you got the ones that love it the way it is, and the others that are like, I just want to eat. Like I just want people to be able to live. I just want to live. They've done that. I mean, they've shown those two sides. So.
Craig,
Yes.
to get back to the Rick thing real quick. I mean, I get what you're saying as far as, it's great to hear Rick give a nice speech because Andrew Lincoln knows how to, say these lines effectively. But this is season 8, dude. Like, we've seen him give this speech over and over again.
I know,
Every
Governor, right, same
they
thing.
run into plenty of big bads where it's like, why are we fighting each other when we can be all on the same side together, family, hashtag. Like, yeah, it's great to hear it again, but it's like you did a clip show together showing different scenes with the same speech being picked by piece in different scenes of the episode, different episodes, and make a coherent speech. So it's the same words. And what makes this one worse for me is that it's not coming from Rick anymore. It's coming from Sage St. Coral, who wrote some words somehow and just made a deep impact on Rick, who apparently forgot that this is what he was about, even though he's already accomplished this multiple times, and then had to rediscover the fact that we should be working together against walkers. It's like, great revelation there, Rick. Good job, your son, who never wrote anything in his damn life, was able to write like a passage for you to suddenly get behind and speak up in a moment of need when you have an improv speech you have to come up with, which is made up of other speeches you've given already before.
And not only that, the speeches are almost always at the end of a season.
Or the mid-season.
Yeah, like the mid-season break. It's always like when they're breaking.
It's the beginning beginning, the middle, and the end. The first episode was all Rick's speech during a montage of let's set up to kill satyrs.
Right.
It's like certainly got points for bookending. Good job.
Now I'm gonna play my son's song. He had a group before he died. Play music right now. Everybody hold hands. We're gonna listen.
Listen to Carl.
Oh yeah, it was good music. I just wish the boy would cut his hair. Never did. Never did.
So yes, I understand what you're saying. I still found it somewhat enjoyable though. It
I did, though.
needs to happen. I agree with you. It was way too long to get to this point too.
Yeah.
But still,
That's the main. Like I'd be probably way less critical of all of this if this took like a season or two, and not what do we say, like a third of the whole series to do this. But I mean, yeah, clearly, you love it. Jared loves it. Clearly, the audience at my theater claps. Like I get that there's a love here. I'm not against the show. It's just like you could do. It's more frustrating to know someone could do something better than do something like this, like poorly. I don't think it's done poorly. I just think it's done average when there's room for above average.
Oh, I agree. With you. You're right, though.
I think things are going to change drastically though next season. They made a lot of hints. I've seen some articles where they said this is not just a season ender. This is like the end of a chapter or the end of a certain way of doing things. So I mean,
That's the other thing. It doesn't feel like that. I mean,
I know,
I
it
guess
doesn't feel like it,
next season it'll have to be that because the status quo needs to change.
Right.
But as far as watching an episode of television that's supposed to tell me that this is the end of everything until next time, it didn't feel like that. I just feel like, all right, wrap this one up.
so Rosita asks Eugene if he sabotaged the bullets, which he admits. He played along with the Saviors in order to defeat them. Rosita's grateful, but she still gives him a clock. Basically, just decks him or tries to deck him across the.
Oh, she hit him hard.
I wrote the line now. He added a modicum of Bluey for a full Kablooey.
I laughed at that one too. Monica, yeah, that's pretty funny.
He had a whole bunch of speeches about like his whole motivation.
But he explained where it came from, though.
Yeah,
when he
exactly.
Didn't she hit him for puking on him?
Yeah,
No.
but now they're even though. Then now it's like they're almost okay now. Like she was so angry at him, but I guess what he did took courage.
Yeah. Maybe they'll even start dating.
Well, she had to admit what he did took courage. Her problem with him is he had no courage.
All right.
So I mean, you never know. I don't think they're gonna date. It's not gonna happen.
Oh, Cowardly Lion, you had all the courage all along.
That's right.
Oh.
I was gonna say no one died, so she's happy. But that's the other thing about this episode. I'm sorry. No, like, remember when people died on the show?
I do.
Like, this is all out war. Who died?
No one.
happened.
Well, they're just like sheep saviors. That's all.
Bunch of red shirts.
Red shirt saviors. We have no idea who they are. Yeah.
If he said if Jerry died, but at the same time, like he's the kind of expendable character that could have.
You shut your mouth and don't even put those words out there. That does not need to happen. Jerry lives or we die.
I mean, was Carl supposed to be like, well, that pushed us too far, guys. We can't do
Look,
it.
if
Nobody
there
else dies.
aren't any consequences and there aren't any stakes, they might as well all be dancing on the field.
You know, it's kind of
I'm
damn
sorry.
if you do, damn if you don't.
Right.
though.
Yeah.
I understand that, but I mean, there are characters they could have conceivably taken out.
I mean, I like Jerry too, but it's the whole thing of Jerry. When the king in the kingdom, when he was talking about like people die, like even if we win, people have to die. Like it's true though. Like even if they win this battle and they end it, there's no way people are not going to die on both sides. Yet they don't. Like it didn't make sense to line that up and not pay it off at all. Which also makes me think we just don't want anybody mad at us at the end of the season.
That's what it feels more like.
That's what it felt like. We don't want
No
anybody
more
mad
hate.
at
No
us.
more hate. We don't
Yeah.
want
Well, then I don't know that they accomplished that mission,
No, I don't think so either.
but not for the reason they think.
Well, it's portraying the precedent set up by the show. As far as this is a
Yeah,
show
it
where cast members can die unexpectedly,
People
just like that's a thing that happens. Does it make you upset? Sure, it's supposed to do that.
I'm
That's the
one
way
of
of this
the
world.
bad, right,
But even if you don't go that far with it, if you're in a war setting where there's a final battle, there wasn't much emphasis on the fact that people were battling. I mean, there were people fighting. Like I saw Morgan knock a guy out with a staff, and he was like, "Morgan, don't use a stab yet." Like I saw that nonsense. But like, Michonne has a sword. She's running after satyrs. Feels like I probably should have seen some of that action. Like none of that was really happening here. It just kind of came this, the macho fight between Rick and Negan.
It was restrained. Yeah.
And thematically, I like the purpose of that because you're also backing up Carl's whole like, you don't have to do this. So the show's ideally trying to show you how much we don't need to show violence, but at the same time, this is the Walking Dead.
It was almost like a sci-fi adventure. Like it was like a Star Wars ending of a Star Wars, early Star Wars. I'm talking like the Ewoks and stuff. I mean, in the Bright Sun. Well, the Ewoks died, but I mean, who cares about the Ewoks? I'm talking about people in general. I mean, it was just people running around smiling and fighting because people were smiling as they were fighting. I mean, it just didn't feel like war.
I'm not trying. I'm with you guys. I'm not trying to be bloodthirsty. I'm not saying, oh, people need to die. Blah, blah, blah.
No.
I'm saying that if you have an arc that takes a whole season to get through, called All Out War,
Right.
and people go to war, that there should have been some consequences here.
Yeah,
And
it's like
there
all the
really weren't.
had nothing to do with the war itself, right? Like
Right.
Carl was killed, had nothing to do with the fight.
That could happen
Simon,
anytime.
Simon wasn't really killed based on the fight. It was betrayal. I mean, I get what you're saying. I totally get it.
And you neutered a guy that really didn't care. I mean, he beat some dudes' heads in while people watched, like as people were tied up and watched, and didn't even think twice about it. Right? To take that away from it, like to change it up and have it that this guy like he doesn't want to use the bat ever again. He's not that bad. Like it just.
Yeah.
I don't know. It cheapens this whole thing. Like
It's the governor all over again.
Yeah, it really cheapens it because this is a war and there should be casualties and we should lose people that we don't want to lose. There should be some of that in this.
Credit to the governor stuff. Like I hated those episodes of Bearded Governor, but that was when he was all by himself. Once he got back to being a part of a group, he did chop Herschel's goddamn head off with a sword.
You're right.
At the end of that battle, I felt horrible. At the end of that battle, I felt horrible because I lost somebody, a character I liked.
Yeah, and Daryl killed the tank, so it was a cool episode.
And
I mean,
Daryl all by himself.
But that felt like more of an all-out war than this did.
Yes,
Because
it
there
did.
were
Yep.
people walked away hurt. Like people walked away with loss, and they were mourning at the end of that season.
And Rick gave a very similar speech, like you said, Aaron, in that particular episode. We can put it all behind us. We can live together. Come in the gates. Drop your guns. Come on, live. He offered to live together, but the governor wasn't having it. He was too.
yeah, it fails, and that's just the mid-season, right? Because the second season is everyone recovering from how horrible that war was.
Yeah, right.
Now I can get that you don't want to repeat that necessarily, but like you said, Russell, there's a lack of consequences. There's no like at the end of this war that took up a third of the show. What really happened? We lost Glenn. We lost Abraham. Denise,
right?
what
Both
like
Denises.
Carl,
Olivia, Tobin.
But none of them were from this actual war. Like Russ and I Russ and I kind of making the same point here. I mean, there were without consequences, there's no stakes, and without stakes, there's no drama. It just like,
Well, all you have is chicken. Damn it.
yes, there you go, and macaroni salad.
So let's see here. This is the point where we see Morgan starting to take off his gear as he's walking away. And he starts handing it over to Carol, telling her to give it to Henry and tell the boy that he'll be okay.
I'm going out into the great unknown, so let me take all my protection away from myself.
right.
I'm surrendering my hilltop. I'm sorry, my kingdom gear. He's no longer a kingdomer.
I swear he's like a phone. He's like, I got to go back to the factory settings that I had prior, where I don't kill.
He's iOS update. That's what he means.
Yeah, like he's going right back to. No, he's going to be a new phone. He's going right back
it's
to
factory condition. Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
to go to the other show now. He can be the same. He can build up a new Morgan. like they did this Morgan.
It'd be pretty funny if he met someone along the way and learned more skills, like another cheesemaker that taught him more deadly stuff.
What else is he gonna do unless he's gonna be able to not get shot? So, I mean, I guess that would be
He'll learn beekeeping or
Husbandry.
crochet.
Things aren't so rosy between Dwight and Daryl. However, Daryl drives Dwight out into the wilderness, and this is where Dwight, again, he's a pretty good actor, right? That's Austin Leo. You definitely feel
even
it.
this. If Daryl had just shot him and killed him,
That would have been more Walking Dead, wouldn't it? Like,
Yeah,
because
it
at this
would've.
point, you almost feel for Dwight. You feel that Dwight should go off and take a truck and try to find his wife, but then Daryl kills him in cold blood.
And
That would have been
almost-
Walking Dead. That would have been.
it would have been Walking Dead.
You're
But
right.
instead, we get basically like I almost thought they were going to show him with her holding a baby, laughing and smiling and waving at people as they walk by.
Drinking wine.
Yeah,
I was fine with the scene until we get to the end that we'll talk about.
Yeah. Like it just reverts the scene entirely. It's like, why did that happen?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so Daryl tosses Dwight the keys and says, "Listen, all right, you lost your LA privileges, right?" He was basically,
right.
"You stay gone and you be gone."
You be gone.
That's pretty good.
So, pulled the big rings on him, right?
She does.
Daryl looked like a bitch.
Get some hot homeboys over here. Leave him on his ass.
If his ass pops up in the scavenger territory, I want a man popping out of a junkyard.
Give me that in the episode. I want to say that.
Oh man. But he also tells Dwight to find her. I mean, again, he also did gratitude to Sherry because he wouldn't let out of that prison without Sherry.
Yeah, it was her.
So he says, "Find her." That's it, and then just leaves him be. Lives in the truck, and then Dwight just wouldn't believe him. Dwight really thought this was the end for him. He thought he was a goner. He thought he was dead.
So Daryl was up to date on the whole Sherry thing because I forgot about this.
Well, Sherry's the one that let him out.
That will let him out. Yeah.
You know, so
but he knew that Sherry was like gone and Dwight was like looking for her. Or
oh
something?
yeah, because it was a code orange or something. Yeah, he knew about all that. Oh yeah,
Right.
Because as soon as she let him out, she was gone. She was out. She was done. So they probably shared that information. I bet when Dwight was being debriefed the first time, he probably explained all that. But whatever, either way, it doesn't matter. He knew.
Sure.
So Dwight returns to the home that he and Sherry shared, where he finds a note from her that simply reads, well, it says D on the outside, and he opened it up and it says honeymoon with an infinity symbol in it.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that means go to the place where we had our honeymoon. I'm assuming.
I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I don't know. I heard there might be another character from The Walking Dead going to Fear the Walking Dead.
Oh, okay.
Could it be Dwight?
Oh, that's interesting actually. So they got the honeymoon in Texas, huh? That'd be pretty cool.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Or he's
I'm
going to
just-
join
I'm
the
just saying,
Infinity War
but-
coming out at the end of this month.
Yeah, I was gonna say it
Right.
could be Avengers Infinity War.
It's all
The
connected.
whole other characters going to Fear, was that more just like other characters going to pop up in this week's episode of Fear the Walking Dead?
I think so, yeah.
I read a total clickbait headline. It was like more than just Morgan made it the switch to
Yeah,
Walking
yeah,
Dead.
right.
Three of them technically did, right? Rick was in it, and so
Yeah,
was Carol, and yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was like,
there was like a
seriously?
tweet or something that said it. So
Yeah, and so of course I clicked the
Clickbait.
link. I totally clicked the link because I'm like, okay, this is dumb, but I got to see how they're going to fool everybody. And sure enough, it's like, well, Morgan talked to Carol, then he talked to Rick, and he talked to Jesus. So like, it wasn't just Morgan that made
Well,
the jump.
technically, it was a crossover. I mean, they were in that show, right? So
Well, damn it, they fooled me because I thought I was still watching Walking Dead.
yeah.
I read a chat this morning that a bunch of people were speculating that next season, season 9, that Negan will escape and he will actually make his way to Texas where he will try to rebuild the Saviors and will be foiled by Morgan because he knows who he is, knows who he really is.
Oh, if they do that, they got
That's
problems.
not-
No,
the show.
Exactly.
I don't want that. I just said I read that. I don't want that. That sounds ridiculous. I actually
That
like.
sounds like somebody wants that. Like the writer of that piece wanted that.
He's literally leaked it out just to see
Yeah.
how we get the reaction.
No,
we get.
this wasn't an article. This was a bunch of people in a discussion online.
Oh, that's even worse.
So
I'm just saying it sounded interesting, but I would not want that.
No.
Morgan heads to the trash heaps to find Jadis on his way out of town, whom he
And-
tells, yes,
And
well, whom he tells that Rick is inviting her to join the community. He doesn't even say the war has ended. He's very vague with her. He speaks in his fragmented or truncated sentences.
Morganese.
His Morganese, yeah. It's like, he could just say, listen, girl, the war's ended. Rick won. Why don't you go live with him? But no, he has this weird way of talking. Anyway, she agrees, and then also discloses that her name is Anne, right? Not Jadis.
This is the funniest scene to me in the whole episode because as soon as she's like, she has a smile, and she's like, you know what, you're right, I am good. Let's go, let's hold hands and walk out of here. And Morgan's like, nope,
Mary Tyler Moore theme to start playing.
and then,
And walk out.
but then Morgan's like, no, not me, I'm staying here.
Word, I'm taking your place.
He just undercuts her entirely in like one sense, like, nope, I'm a minister. I'm just here.
I'm moving in. You're moving out. That's it. Yeah.
The secret origin of Sanford and Son.
I'm saying. Then he started yelling, "This is my house now."
I'm going to meet you, Elizabeth.
And not for nothing, just a side note, since Jada's lost her Romulan haircut, man, she's looking pretty good. Just gotta say.
And her name is now Anne. That's her real name is Anne. Okay. At the hilltop, Alden offers to help Maggie build up the community with the book left to them by Georgie. Later, Maggie sits in a private meeting. Okay, so this kind of glossed over the whole conversation, but Alden's pretty cool. I'm kind of digging him. Like he's definitely a reformed savior. He definitely wants to help out.
Oh, yeah.
Again, another conversation that in and of itself, I was like, okay, I get it, and then it's totally ruined by the next scene.
So Maggie sits in a private meeting with
I
Jesus.
like that Alden had like book reading privileges apparently during his time as a prisoner, where he was able to read that book.
Yeah, I could read that book over there.
I feel like that book would be like kept like somewhere safe and not just,
Sacred,
like,
right?
anywhere for like a random savior to pick it up and be like,
Well,
oh.
did he say
For the
Georgie,
last
or
couple of days, he was kind of out on his own.
he has some privileges? Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even then, it's like I feel like that book should be somewhere more secure than just like
I agree.
And be like, hey, how does irrigation work? Okay, I'm gonna get into that.
So Maggie's now in this private meeting with Jesus, where she tells him Rick and Michonne were wrong to let Negan live. She decides they will build up Hilltop and buy the time until they can show Rick and Michonne, she notes, how wrong they are. And then Jesus has no problem with this apparently.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
that's
sitting there
weird.
going, that don't fit.
And then
Of all the characters,
right, and then Daryl steps out of the shadows and agrees with her. Like he's just standing there.
I was here lurking in shadows the whole time.
It's just
You're
like
right.
the beginning of The Godfather, man.
Yeah.
Like, they're just
Yeah.
sitting at that desk, and
Yeah.
Tom
The
Hanks-
high back chair.
she's just missing the cat. I mean,
She's stroking the cat. She's wearing a
She
tuxedo, right?
did.
Yeah, that's it.
I swear she did have that look to her. Like,
missing the cat and Luca Brasi. I mean,
Yeah,
like,
like-
like,
I'm
that's,
oh, I'm sorry, I was gonna say Daryl. It really bothered me. He's like, what? Is he just lurking in the shadows, waiting for somebody to show up? So he can
Exactly.
I'm like,
it's like
well,
it's like two things. Like one, Nick Darrow's like, let's do this. Let's shoot it. Let's light it just like the Godfather too. Let's make it just like that. 'Cause that's what we're operating. But also, why is Jesus here? Like, why not Daryl be sitting in the chair? That makes
Right.
sense. Like,
He's
why
constantly
would
here.
Jesus
He's
down
Tom
with
Hagen.
killing Negan? I mean, Jesus has all this time has been like, oh, let's limit the casualties. Let's limit how many people we have to kill.
If-
Oh, use
right.
the blunt end of your stick. Don't and now here he's like, oh yeah, cool, let's go Negan.
Yeah,
or
Why-
or
why-
just
why-
look at her and say, I can't be party to this, and
Yeah.
get up and walk out.
Yeah.
Like
if anything, I could see it go down that they're going to take out Negan or something, and Jesus finds out about it and tries to stop them, and accidentally gets shot.
So
Or I
he
could
could
even
do
tell
double
you-
cross. He may do double cross. Yeah, he could. He could.
Yeah, but
But to be in the scene like this, he would try to talk them out of it. Like,
why
yeah,
would you bring him into it? You know
Yeah.
how pacifist he is. You know
Yeah.
every turn he's tried to talk you out of doing any harm to anyone. Why would you
Yeah.
bring him in?
Right.
And
And
so
he
many,
hasn't- Yeah, I'm sorry.
there's so many other characters. You have Tara, you have
Yeah.
Rosita, you
Yeah.
have Carol, you
Yeah,
have
all
you
the
have
people who want
Enid.
Negan dead.
Like,
Yup.
so it's like say it over and over again. Like, it's just
Like this whole thing of them turning on Rick and everything else just kind of pisses me off. And I also don't understand because like there was a lot of activity on Twitter, obviously, at this point.
Mhm.
And Norman Reedus actually tweeted during this time to say, "Thanks everyone for the love." And no, I'm not turning on my brother Rick. Everyone chill. So what the hell?
And
So he
I
thinks-
don't
It's
know
almost
if
like
this
he
is
played the role of Gregory. I think, like, of
Gregory
being-
would have been a good choice there for her
Yeah.
to talk to, you know.
That's what- you
Like
know
Aaron
what,
said,
you're-
there are 10 other characters who have the hard on for killing Negan who would have been better than Jesus.
Jim, you hit it on the head. I think that would have been the best thing that would have happened is if instead of Daryl coming out and Jesus being there, if Gregory comes out and be like,
I
I
would've
know
been
exactly
behind
what
that.
you need to do. I know exactly, like she's going to the enemy to turn on Rick because she thinks she's right. You know, like it would have worked. It would have worked for me.
I would have been okay with this too if she didn't make a point of saying we will bolster our defenses, we will
Mhm.
prepare ourselves. She's basically saying we will go to war with him over
Yeah.
this. And I'd have been okay if she would have just been like, look, we're gonna regroup. I cannot be around Rick for right now,
Right.
but we are gonna find a way to convince him that he's wrong. And if not, then I'll kill Negan myself. And if the rest of them were like, oh, okay, I would have been totally fine with that. Like,
Mhm.
it-
Yeah,
it-
that would
it's
make
the
more
whole hostility.
Yeah.
It's like on a dime, you're just gonna turn on these on the people that you've been closest to,
Yep.
that are your family, that have been through all of this with you, and over
Mhm.
not killing this one guy.
Yep.
They're
Even though
gonna
you
bring Glenn
yourself,
back.
yeah, even though you yourself, spared all of those prisoners. You just basically gave
Yep.
amnesty to somebody who's killed God knows how many people.
And said he was right.
And
And
but
he said he was right.
but keeping Negan alive is a bridge too far. Like I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't wash
It's a little hostile, I guess. And
And if they would have written it that way, they could have hedged, right? Because
Mhm.
we know Gimple's out as direct showrunner and Angela Kang is in. And so if we go to season 9, they could have totally toned that down and been just like I said. It's just like, Maggie's mission is to convince Rick and Michonne that Negan has to die. And I really would have liked to have seen that debate where I mean, I guess we got it in his speech, and maybe it would have been better instead of giving the speechifying, if it was him and Maggie going at each other
Right,
with why each one is right. Like instead of this, like you guys were saying, we've heard the speech, 1,000 times before. It's nothing new. It just happens to apply to Negan. But to have Maggie and Rick go head to head about why each one's right, but not to the point where they feel so right that they got to kill the other one. I
Right.
just
It seems
It
out of
almost,
character.
yeah,
Yeah.
it almost felt like because there were no consequences for this war that they wanted to be like, we got to put something in it to have people going, oh, moments, and that was their moment.
And I just don't want to see civil war. Like I don't want to
But
see.
you know that's coming. That's gonna, like, I could already see that would be the basis of the next season of keeping the groups from fighting or from breaking down before they can interact with that other group before they come back. Like just keeping the peace. Like that, I can see that being the problem. That'll be the tension of keeping the peace, keeping war from breaking out between the groups again, and this time friends, going at it as opposed to straight up enemies. I could just see them doing that, or that'll be the major conflict until we get to something else, until we get to the next big threat.
Yeah.
that they
Or
have to
Rick
face.
even explaining to her, like, look, he killed Glenn because it was his way. Like
Yeah.
he was convinced that his way was the way, and it's
Mhm.
not. We've proven that our way is the
Right.
better way, and the way to truly punish him is to prove that everything that he's done and everything that he is wrong. And I mean,
he can
Rick
argue
said, look,
this is
what we're
argument this
gonna
way and say it's my fault that Glenn is dead because I sent
Yeah.
us in there
Yeah.
to kill those people, and then their response to me killing those people was to kill some of our people. Like it's my fault.
or have Rick tell, look, give me a chance to prove that I'm right. That to truly punish him is to have him see us survive
Right.
under our way. And if you don't agree with me after that, then he's yours. You can do with it as you please.
Because it's not like he's hanging out,
Yeah.
being part of the group. He's in a prison. Like it's not like
Yeah,
he
but
gets
Maggie
to
wants
walk
justice.
around.
Maggie wants justice.
I
Anybody
get
has to
it.
go. It
I
has to be
totally
Negan.
get it,
Yeah,
but I mean,
that's-
but I can see if he was saying we're going to integrate him into the group. He's not even saying that. He's like, this dude's going to go and he's going to sit in his room. forever.
She's been so focused on his death over this last battle, weeks, it was a month, 2 months, whatever it was,
Yeah.
that she can't see anything beyond that. That's all
But
she can see.
so focused that she's willing to kill Rick.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
she didn't kill him. She
that's-
said show him how
well,
wrong he is. Now I don't know
But
what
she's
that
talking
means.
about bolstering defenses and getting stronger.
Yeah,
and
like
all
why
this. I mean,
say
that's tough talk.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
All right, the scene, just real quick, and then I'll be done. I promise.
Go, man.
After
God forbid
no,
you
I know
talk
we're
on
going long.
podcast.
The scene with Rick and Michonne when they tell Negan that that's what they're gonna do, they're gonna build a prison. They're not sugarcoating anything. They're talking really tough, and they're talking like the line is so thin with you that if you step 1 inch over it, that you're done. Like we will kill you on the spot.
Yeah.
And again, it doesn't match with the way Maggie went about it was like, oh, they're like you guys are saying, they're gonna let him off on Easy Street, and that's not the case.
No.
That's what they should do. They should pipe that Easy Street
Yeah.
song into a solo case on that.
Make him eat Eugene's mac and cheese.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sorry.
God.
Oh,
So Negan wakes
Make
up.
him, make him read more of Carl's letters. Oh no!
Oh, man.
I was just gonna say, I hear what you guys are all saying, and as far as what the intention Maggie has, I didn't quite. For me personally, I didn't quite take it as she's definitely going to try to invoke violence against Rick and Michonne specifically. Just more of they'll kill Negan eventually, and just have a really good society. Seems like the implication to me that she's making. But I don't know. I mean, we'll see what
I
happens.
don't
If
think
she's
she
back.
could kill Rick. I think that she has a lot of family-like feelings for Rick. I don't think she could kill him, but I think that her being blinded by her hatred and her need for revenge could end up getting Rick hurt, though.
Yeah, but the way
Or-
she even said
or
and
somebody else.
Michonne, like the way
Yeah.
she just had that vitriol in her voice, to me that
Right.
was just if that's what she feels like about Michonne, what does she feel like about Rick? Like it just
she made a
doesn't.
point of saying it. Like even have a
Yeah.
point of even saying it like that. It felt like she wanted to fight. Now they could totally not mean it that way.
Yeah.
But the
Well, I
way
think they
that
had
they
a
did the
head.
scene, right?
Again, I mean, new showrunner coming
Right.
in.
They
You know,
could clean up. They could do damage control on this. They could
Yeah,
fix
they
it.
could clean that up. They could clean that. They could be a debate. They could
but
be
it doesn't leave a very good taste in my mouth at the end of the season.
No.
So Negan wakes
I
up.
agree there.
Negan wakes up handcuffed to an infirmary bed in Alexandria. Rick and Michonne tell him that they're keeping him alive, locked up to serve as a reminder to all that they're building a civilization of law and order.
Boom.
Dun dun.
And listen, the season it closes with Rick writing his own letter to Carl.
And where's Ice-T?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
versus zombie
special
or
victims
not.
unit. Yeah, that's
They're all with Munch.
Oh, okay.
Life on the
That would
street.
be the ultimate 10th cameo is that
Right.
have survived the zombie apocalypse.
That'd be great.
Flashing back to the day when the two spent walking on the countryside farm when Carl was just a boy. I think this is a very touching flashback memory, if you will. Rick went back into sheriff uniform again. That Bear McCreary music started coming up. The Rick's theme, we haven't heard that in a while.
I mean, it'd be nice if it's like actual footage of him and Chandler.
Why couldn't they do that? Why couldn't they go back? Like that was. It seemed like he just dyed his hair brown and
Because they
got
don't
a new
have
kid. Yeah, like,
they don't because it's lame to see some random other kid, but it's like they didn't have footage of him with walking with random
Yeah,
champions.
I was waiting for Carl to stop and pick up a rock and throw it at the pond, and then Andy Griffith.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Who would be Barney Fife in this scenario in the Walking Dead universe? Would it be Daryl?
You gotta be.
It's like a really goofy version of Daryl.
that's pretty funny. So that brings us to this episode. And before we get on to our, well, I don't know how we want to do this. Do you want to do the bus ratings at the very, very end, or how do you want to do this, guys?
We'll do this one first because it's this one, and we'll do the next
But
one.
they combine their ratings. That's why. So.
Yeah, but we said we were gonna have a clean cutoff for the
I know, that's why-
debate, so
Why
let's do
don't,
that.
why don't we do our busters for this episode? Then we'll talk fear, and then we can read all the.
That's what we'll do.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
That's what we will do.
You know what we didn't do that I don't remember anyway was we didn't cover at the point for hashtag Red Machete, did we?
No, in fact, if you can do that right now, Aaron, that would be great.
Yeah.
We were so much in talking about the details of the Negan fight that we missed our hashtag Red Machete, which actually happened quite early this episode. It was like a second commercial break, which is very strange. But I need your help, Aaron, to understand this because I didn't really get it. So, Aaron, could you please help us out with hashtag Red Machete by talking about Lynn Moss? Help me out. Who grabbed the knife?
Well, guys, first off, it's been a pretty rough season of The Walking Dead, but The Walking Dead presents hashtag Machete presented by Taco Bell, hashtag with Moss has been nothing but aces, and this whole back half has really worked out because so we have the young girl, one of the original Red Machete holders. She's just taken out a walker in the previous episode, and now she's brought her machete to the grave of her papa and Alyssa, as noted on the grave sites, and she sticks the machete in the ground, and she's like, okay, for some reason I don't need this one weapon that's gonna really help me out in this world of undead people. I'm gonna walk away from all this because it's better to remember people by giving up my weapon to save my life, whatever that means. But then as she's out of there, someone else picks up the machete. And a shocking cliffhanger for Walking Dead presents hashtag Red Machete presented by hashtag with Moss. I don't know what to tell you, Greg. I don't know who this could have been. I
It's
don't know who
Alicia.
could have this.
That was Alicia.
I'm telling you,
Pretty good.
I that looks like her thigh. I'm telling you.
I mean, because it is in
If
the
anybody
future.
knows what Alicia's style looks like, I would bank on Chubb.
Yeah,
Oh,
Chubb,
man.
hubba, 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 hubba.
Hey, I called Eugene. I'm calling this one.
So, I mean, this is technically the future from where we are, though. Actually, quite a bit in the future, right? Because we time jumped from where the Red Machete left the possession of the Saviors. It went through several more battles, ended up in Nora's hands again. So, we don't even know where this thing is. We don't know when it is. And we don't know who grabbed it. So, I mean, it's like a very anticlimactic ending. Like, we're so cool with claimers there. We knew where we were. Right now,
Well,
we don't know where we are. Yeah, we don't know where this thing is.
It climaxed the previous. It climaxed when she got the machete back. The
Okay,
emotional
okay.
climax of Red Machete was when she got it back.
It was
It's
her machete, Nora, right?
it's gone so far, and then she still manages to get it back again. That's the climax of the series.
It's like Excalibur or the Masamune, one of the great legendary weapons of lore.
Has to return back to this, the Lady of the Lake.
Yeah,
exactly.
So
Sword
true.
and
So
Stone.
the rest is all falling action at that point. So yeah, she kills another walker, but it's like of course she can. She has a machete in her hand, and she gets it back to she puts it at the gravesite. Then it's just an inciting incident to lead us into the next chapter of the Red Machete saga, which I definitely look forward to, of course.
Wait,
But
what's
as far
next
as
chapter? Is it over, though? I mean, is
I
this...
don't know. Someone picked up the machete. Clearly, it's not over. Nothing's ever over, Greg.
Well, no. Is this continuing through Fear? No, I'm serious now. I'm being dead serious. Like, is this...
I have no idea. I wouldn't be surprised if it did.
I wondered if they were going to have some kind of a mini series during Fear. Maybe that's it. I'm telling you, it was Alicia that picked it up.
Alicia.
I'm surprised just because of the location of things. Like the claimers had it, they're still in the south, and then Rick. I mean, it was Rick's machete to begin with.
Rick
Yeah,
got it, the Saviors had it, the Saviors lost it, right? Yeah.
So it's like I don't know how we get to, I don't know how it suddenly, went west in all of this.
Wait, wait,
By the way, we were going to talk about people. I was like any second before to say Manifest Destiny, like I predicted. I so thought I was going to have it like 3 points to the episode for Morgan. So when he started going that direction, never happened. So
we'll get to that in just a moment. Let's do our quick bust. Actually, let's do a quick word from our sponsor. Then we'll do our
That's
Buster
right.
ratings. So who wants to do our word from our sponsor this week?
DCBService.com is our sponsor and has been since the inception of this wonderful podcast. If you are interested in getting into The Walking Dead, I know we refer to the comics quite a bit on the show. If you would like to get in touch with the comics and get caught up on the story, by all means, there are all kinds of ways to do so in many affordable ways at DCBService.com. Single issues, hardcovers, omnibus, compendiums, which are the giant 50-issue phone book style books that I like because I like to sit and read outside and not worry about the condition. But if you're a collector, you get the really nice hardbound collections. And not only just comics and graphic novels, you can get toys, collectibles, clothing, role-playing game and gaming supplies, statues, all kinds of great things at great prices. We're talking 30, 40, 50, sometimes 60% off. I'm looking at some of the offerings they have now. If you're into horror comics, there's been some really cool ones come out lately, including Vampironica, which is Veronica from the Archie comics as a vampire, which is pretty cool. Also Harrow County, which is another really great horror comic that's been coming out. If you're a fan of The Walking Dead, you probably like that as well. These comics are both 50% off right now at DCB Service, so half the cover price. Cheaper prices than you get at Amazon. Better service than you would ever get at Amazon. Wide variety. It's all right there on their website, DCB Service, and their sister website, InStockTrades.com. They're always running specials. They're always running sales. Right now, all DC and Marvel hardcover and trade paperbacks are 50% off. If you're a fan of the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, the latest installment from Alan Moore and Kevin O'Neill, The Tempest #1 is 50% off for only $2.49. The Magic Order, which looks like a really great supernatural horror comic as well, also half off this month. Go to DCB Service, check out the selection, fill up your cart, and you're going to save a lot of money, and you're going to be dealing with people who care about the condition of your stuff and who are easy to talk to and easy to help out if something should go wrong, which usually doesn't, but if it does, it's a lot better than having to deal with a giant faceless corporation owned by Jeff Bezos. So by all means, DCBService.com. Thank you. We thank them for their continued support of our show.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Dietz. Let's get to our Buster ratings, the final Buster ratings of season 8. Aaron, start with you, buddy.
I mean, there's satisfying things that occur. So it just feels so like, okay, we could have done this differently and better given all the build up and the lack of consequences and the final stuff of Maggie. Like it's like I'll be at like 3 busters. It's like a 3 minus. Like I'm not happy about this finale. I'm just like I'm begrudgingly accepting it because it does satisfy to some level. So it's like 3 busters seems appropriate.
Okay. Chubb Stradamus.
All right. Well, I mean, there's a lot to pick apart in this episode, and we definitely did it. but overall there was some satisfaction to it's finally over. I mean, one thing that was interesting I was thinking about the other day was, when All Out War happened in the comics, they sped it up for us. We started getting that comic bi-monthly or bi-weekly, twice a month, and it just every 2 weeks the momentum built and built and built. This thing was 2 seasons. I mean, All Out War was more or less this last season, but it really started, with Negan and everything at the beginning of season 7, and it just felt, I referred to this as the tantric dead at one point, because it just kept building up and then just nothing, and building up and then nothing, and then finally we built up to this, and it was kind of a ending to it all. I mean, I really would have liked to have seen, like Jim said, the stakes raised, some major characters killed off, or maybe, just some massive changes to characters. Who knows? I don't know. But what we got was kind of weak sauce for what we should have gotten. But with all that said, I still enjoyed the episode. I'm just not sure if that enjoyment comes from finally it's done. I was going to give this episode 3.5 busters, but I have to take half a buster off for the Maggie Corleone scene. That sucked everything right out of the whole episode. Just for me, it just really took me out of it. I'm like, what the hell are they doing? So yeah, I'm going with 3 busters.
Okay, Russ.
I'll give it 3.5. There was a lot to like about the episode. I like the Eugene double cross. I like where they left Gabriel at the end. I kind of like that he's kind of got his faith back, and I'm curious to see what that does moving forward. But it's just the and keeping Negan alive at the end is fine. Like I don't have a problem with that, because I truly believe that his punishment will come in proving that their way is the better way. But it's just the whole Maggie, Daryl, Jesus bit at the end just really rubbed me the wrong way. Like I hope they change course with that next season, and I hope there's maybe we're just emphasizing it more based on how ominous it was and the way it was shot in this episode, and then maybe it's going to get downplayed. But it really just kind of it made other scenes be problematic. Like I said, the scene with Daryl and Dwight, the scene with Maggie, and what's his name, the Savior dude, Alden. Thank you. It just kind of neutered those scenes to me after the fact. So, but yeah, again, there's some good stuff in there too.
So what was your number?
3.5.
3.5. Okay, Mr. Taylor.
With all the issues that we talked about in this episode, I still love Rick, and I still love to hear him speechify, and the Negan parts I still love, and I did like that they just ended stuff. They just pretty much ended stuff. And I did get enjoyment out of it. Like I got so much enjoyment out of watching that happen. And then they fooled me and made me think I was still watching Walking Dead. I was watching Fear Walking Dead, but so I have to break it up in my mind when it stopped and became the other show. But so far, I did really enjoy this episode because I've been a fan from the beginning, and my favorites were very heavy in this episode, and so that was enough for me for now. But I know they got to step it up from now on. I know from next season on they have got to get themselves together. So I would have to give it, even though it probably doesn't deserve it, but just because I'll give it a 4 out of 5. Busters.
Okay, Mr. Dietz.
I give it a 3, and in the spirit of brevity, and since I've kind of already said all my piece about it, I give it a 3.
Okay, I will give it. Look, the episode definitely is a 3, but it gets 1 point for just the Rick speechifying at the end. So it goes up to a 4 right there. I'm sorry, that's a whole point right there. If somebody would have died, another point would have been a 5. But you're right, so it's right there. I'm very easy to score this thing. I love it. I can take that all day. I'm sorry, I went there. I can take that and then some all day. It was resolution. I agree with Chubb that I'm glad it's just over. It's just so drawn out. They've been so experimental with the way they told this story. And again, this is just, you said 21 days. It feels like 21 years. I mean, it's been 2 whole years of our lives have gone by, and only 21 days of these people. Again, it's taken way too long to get to this point. I'm glad it's done. I'm glad that the show's going to have some kind of a shift or a time, perhaps a reboot of some sort. I'm looking forward to that. New showrunner, optimistically. But overall, it was good. Tied up all the loose ends for the most part. 4.0 busters. Okay, so that's the end of season 8, guys. We got through it together. We held each other up emotionally. We did.
That's right.
So we can make a clean break right here. I was thinking of dividing it up into 2 podcasts, but I tried that once before, and it's actually more work, and it doesn't seem to make it any easier. So we'll just keep it together, but we'll do it together. But we'll
put your hands down. Put your hands down. Put your hands down.
How'd you know my hands were up?
His hands were up. You can see it, right?
Are we going to save any possible spoiler stuff to the end of all of this?
I mean, do you have some speculation?
I gotta go to sleep at some point. Like, we gotta keep this moving.
Yeah, so we're gonna end this right now. We'll do a quick synopsis of Fear the Walking Dead. So again, for those of you that haven't watched Fear yet, which I guess no excuse will be you're not in this country, you can tune out now and tune in possibly next week, and then we can pick it up from there. Otherwise, thanks for listening.
Or just save the ending. Just save. Stop it at this point. Just wait till next week.
Wait till next week, and we'll take it from there. Exactly. We're gonna read your busters to the very end of this. So, and I promise we'll get through it quick. Okay. Starting with the next episode, Fear the Walking Dead, Season 4, Episode 1, What's Your Story? Directed by John Polson, written by Scott M. Gimple, Andrew Chambliss, and Ian B. Goldberg. I will do, for the sake of brevity, the AMC recap. It's a little bit shorter, because they actually have one up immediately for Fear. For some reason, they don't put it up with The Walking Dead, but for Fear, it goes up right away. So, it starts with, we see John Dory, which is Garrett Dillahunt, hears a noise while reading by a campfire. He shoots an approaching walker, although before he gets to that point, there's a very 5-page monologue of him just talking to the woods, which he is such a good actor, this guy. I'm sorry. He's so good.
I thought that was a great monologue. Every second of it had me on the edge. I mean, he was just, he is a good actor.
They gave us his origin story in 5 minutes.
In 5 minutes.
Yeah.
He's a good guy. He lost his wife. All this stuff about him, and just happened to him talking to the woods. Like,
I'm sorry, Aaron, go ahead.
I was going to say everything about him. I'm a Garrett Dillahunt fan already. And everything he does in this opening segment here is just like, well, this is just great work as far as a character goes, which is something Joe could definitely use a big shot in the arm as far as going. And it was just betrayed by the fact that it shot so poorly. That was the only thing that was bothering me.
But that's at nighttime.
That whole nighttime.
There was no color in the episode at all.
It was washed out to begin with, and night was even worse. You're right. Yeah.
It seemed to me like he really sold the idea of someone who hadn't had anyone to talk to for so long.
Yeah.
That he's just kind of talking to himself, and that really helped sell that.
Now, how did it end for you? How did it end for you guys? Walking Dead, like it ended with him in the junkyard still, and then walking away.
It ended with actually Maggie. Wasn't she? No, I'm sorry, Negan. No.
It was Andy Griffith's show.
No. Yeah, exactly right. Carl and Rick.
Or she was
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that's the weird thing with me. I really did not know when it ended and when it began because it just ran straight through with the
It was
end.
quick. He did that purposely. They want to hook everybody in, so it didn't have much time to leave. That's what happened. So anyway, this was great. It's like a one-man show. He really was. He's so good here. But then finally, I guess a Walker hears him talking, and then he's a quick draw. He shoots the Walker, but as the Walker goes down, right behind the Walker, we see is Morgan Jones ready to take him out with a stick. So he was right there. And again, he was probably just helping. He wasn't trying to sabotage him.
Well, like John had already heard something begin with his
It was
like
quick snap or
talking.
something. Yeah, right.
So yeah, he was ready for something to happen. Then yeah, he just happened to be a Walker, and we also learned that he's a quick draw.
Yes, at that point with a classic
He's
sidearm.
doing fancy gunplay and everything with the twirling it back into his holster and all that too.
Gunslinger.
Gunslinger. So in a flashback, Morgan hangs laundry at his hideout at the junkyard at the Heaps. Jesus visits him. They're just going to rejoin their community. Doesn't say much, just kind of listens to him. Morgan makes coffee in the hideout. Carol then visits him and employs him to come back to their community, come back to the kingdom, where people care about him. Morgan continues to cook. Then Rick Grimes pays a visit, saying that Morgan will end up with people one way or another. And he can hide, but he can't run. And that kind of started bouncing around his head. I guess Morgan said, I gotta get the hell out of here.
Yeah,
So
these people are gonna leave me alone.
he remains silent. He packs his backpack, grabs his fighting stick, and leaves the junkyard. Morgan walks down the road and hears the voices of his friends trying to convince him to stay. This guy looked confusing to me. Like, looks like he was waiting for a bus. Like, he was on a corner for at least a good day, or maybe at least overnight into the next day. Was he just sorting out his demons at that point in his head? Like, is that what was going on? What did you guys take from that? Okay.
Yeah,
that's
that's
what
what
it
that
was,
was,
All right.
I will say this: as much as I was confounded by Morgan on The Walking Dead, separate from that show, I got Morgan right away in Fear the Wall. I got where he was trying to be and why he needed to leave. Like that, I didn't focus too much on the crossover aspect as much as I focused on just he's on this show now. What is that supposed to be? And I got it. I think I got kind of the motivations of what he was trying to do.
I thought it was well done enough that even, and I don't know if this even exists, the person that would watch Fear the Walking Dead but not the parent show would understand who Morgan was and what he was about.
That's the point. I don't know why you would, but that's a good point. If you're just tuning in now to season 4, or if you're watching the Blu-rays or something like that, right? Like, you wouldn't know who he was, but you do know kind of who he is. Yeah.
If you see enough of these previews and whatnot, I was like, well, there's people I like in this one. Why not? Let me try it out. I gave up on the Walking Dead, but this Fear thing seems like it's going to do something. I can see someone trying to jump in that way.
Yeah, well, it makes sense. Eventually, he breaks into a run, so it's kind of like a Forrest Gump here. He's running across the country. He then finds a car, he hotwires it, and luckily enough, it has a full tank of gas. So he at least got a few hundred miles on that car, right? So if we're tracking his footsteps here, he's going from Virginia to Texas. He obviously did it through multiple modes of transportation, one of which was a car. He then walks for several more days. He spots a group of people in the distance and walks the other way. He continues to head west on foot and then in another car. So again, they're not showing exactly how long it took, but long enough where these timelines could line up somehow.
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter as far as Walking Dead goes. Walking Dead's already in the present, so it's like it's
the other one that has to catch up, right? That's true.
It's less about time and more just about distance. I think is what they really consider. And it's like, yeah, okay, he's been on the road a long time. Like,
right.
So he's gotten far enough to be walking on a sign that says Texas on. You're like, okay, he's away from that. He's over here.
I mean, that has to take a while because you're talking about at least 1,800 miles, 2,000 miles. I mean, that's on
You can
foot.
pick up a car every now and again.
Right, so that would shave off a few hundred miles over here and again, right?
But you can go from Houston to Atlanta by car in 12 hours.
Yeah, so
if you have
so this
fuel,
is
right, if you can stop and get gas.
Yeah, and then this is another by car. Austin's another 3 hours west. So
right. I mean, a car and a full tank of gas can only get about 300 miles. I was trying to say you can't refill it. Like that's it. You have to go west again. Right.
Yeah, I suppose it provides time for if there was going to be another crossover at some points where the timelines align just because of whatever time jump we get for season 9, it'll still make sense because we saw this time pass as Morgan was crossing from Virginia to Texas.
Oh, I see. So they really could be really lined up at this point. I got you. That makes sense.
Yeah, so they could be companion series as opposed to a prequel series.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, I'm guessing probably 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah. I mean, his shoes were pretty at the end were pretty roughed up. I mean, like he was taping his boots and stuff. So Morgan walks for days. He spots a group of people because he walks the other way. He finds a wounded man coughing inside of a car. He first starts to leave some first aid supplies. Or I guess it was like food or maybe it was a bottle of water. But the man orders him to take the supplies and leave him alone. He just wants to cough and die and whatever in the car. Very strange.
Well, he had a leg wound. It looked like he was trying to maybe disinfect the leg wound of some kind.
Oh, okay.
It was like gauze and
alcohol. Okay.
Yeah, he was trying to treat it. I think
Gotcha.
that was the idea. Well, yeah, the guy said cough. That was
Pretty much just, yeah. So he did. Morgan arrives at the Texas border. Morgan spots an infected heading toward a man in a field. He gets ready to kill the walker, but the man shoots it first. So this is kind of where we just began with John Dory doing his gunslinging at night. The man introduces himself as John Dory and like the fish and invites Morgan.
Yeah, I said that like the fish with an IE.
Yeah, it's great, freaking awesome. And invites Morgan to take shelter in his car for the night. Again, Morgan is very hesitant, doesn't want to be around people, doesn't trust this guy. You can read it all over his face, but eventually he allows himself to take a few winks inside the car, but not for long because he sneaks out in the middle of the night. Morgan walks down the road, peeks into an empty tent lit by a lantern, but then immediately someone knocks him unconscious. We then find out that Morgan wakes up to find the thug Leland and another thug, it says that, I didn't write that, holding him at gunpoint while going through his bag. John shows up and shoots at Leland, but surrenders when Leland crew surrounds him. So
I think what works here is Morgan at first is just like take the food, or whatever.
Right, take the food, you supplies back, yeah, exactly.
And like I'm alone. There's nobody with me.
Yeah.
Definitely by myself. And then John comes up. He's like, hey, I'm just trying to prep my friend here.
Yeah,
it's like it's a good laugh line.
And that kind of brought me back to when Morgan was surrounded by the wolves, right? He goes, "You take the food, leave my stuff. I don't want to hurt you." He say almost exactly the same thing.
Yeah, he's in that, which is honestly my preferred Morgan mode at this point.
Okay,
I like that.
So walk the earth, leave me alone. Don't mess with me. I'll tell you what happens.
He's Carradine Morgan. He's Morty Carradine.
Yeah, he's King Kung Fu.
He gets to adventures. Leland and his crew hold John and Morgan captive. Althea shows up in a SWAT vehicle and offers Leland a case of ramen noodles in exchange for the prisoners. While Leland refuses,
packets.
I'm sorry,
with the powdery kimchi.
kimchi packets. So I don't understand what the kind of noodles are. They always have those little packets of crap. I don't get it. Like she was selling it so hard. No.
There's different kinds of
Different
ramen.
flavors.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm not on my ramen noodles. You have to excuse me. When Leland refuses, she pulls a lever to reveal the vehicle is rigged with machine guns, and he sees her reaching for the lever. Althea drives with Morgan and John in the back of the vehicle. She tells them that they owe her for saving their lives.
I'll say this too. We got Garrett Dillahunt already. Lane James. Maggie Grace is solid on this show.
She's good.
That's what's needed.
She's
Like,
good.
It's not out of the ordinary. I mean, she's been in Taken. She's been in Space Jail. She's been in the Hurricane Heist. Like she's used to this genre stuff. Like this genre stuff. It's like it's not in Lost, obviously. So it's like
Space.
That's not Lost, yeah.
Yeah, so it's not like it's out of the realm of possibility that she'd be good on a show like this. It makes sense. But no, I get for a show that has to introduce these three characters specifically, they all do a good job.
So she parks and gets out a video camera. She reveals that she's a journalist and wants to get their stories on record. And we've seen this kind of theme before too with what was it? At the Alexandria, they recorded things for posterity. I guess to record history, right? Deanna. Who's Deanna?
Yeah.
Who's Deanna? The next day, Althea interviews John on camera and learns about his mission to find his girlfriend, Laura, who he met after the fall. She turns the camera and don't know what happened to her. And again, we find out that she has the exact same gun as him. Like that's the little nugget that he throws in there too. But anyway, she turns the camera on Morgan. He brushes her off and leaves them. John runs after Morgan and gives him fresh socks. But then they spot one of Leland's cars parked nearby. Leland's crew surrounds Morgan, John, and Althea. Leland demands the keys to Althea's truck. Morgan and John fight off their captors. Althea kicks Leland and runs to the truck. Leland pulls her out. John opens the door to an abandoned trailer. A herd of infected streams out. Leland looks for the keys to the truck. Althea dangles keys in front of Leland, tosses them into some bushes. Leland runs after the keys, allowing Althea to escape.
I'll say, this is like a 10-minute action sequence. It is great. Like, this is a great action. Like every
very cinematic. I mean, it's really cool.
As much as I didn't like how it was filmed, the opening scene of this episode, this centerpiece of the show, this whole action sequence that has multiple characters and a lot of different kind of geography, it's all clear to me. It's all well shot. It's exciting. Like, it's just a really good action sequence.
Mind you, well, mind you, I was sitting there going, oh, that's why they didn't have much going on in The Walking Dead in the first part of it, because in the second part of it, they're gonna have more action.
You still thought you were in The Walking Dead? You
I swear to God, that's what I'm sitting there going, like, oh, they're saving it to the end, to the second part. That's what they're gonna have.
I failed to mention the title screen. We used to always make fun of the title screen. I mean, it was a joke actually to us from day one.
They changed it.
They changed
I
it.
like
Now,
this one.
it's like a Western twangy theme now. Do you hear? It's like,
I gotta watch it now. I gotta rewatch the episode to find out what the title screen
It's like a Western version of The Walking Dead. It's like, you get this little twangy guitar. It's like, all right, I kind of like this. Because before
I wish they had done that. I wish they had shown it.
Yeah, well, I don't know why you didn't see it, but anyway,
Was it on the app?
the old one was a screechy, crazy tone.
Atticus Ross, man.
Right, it came out of nowhere. It was so stupid. What were you saying, Russ? It was what was it?
Atticus Ross, so it's Nine Inch Nails.
What, the song that they played? Oh, really? I didn't know
No,
that.
the original theme was done by Atticus Ross.
Oh, the old one. You mean the screechy?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm curious if this new one's going to be the same every week or if it'll because that
It changed,
title,
right?
It looked like it very much reflected what we were already seeing. So I'm curious, like every week's going to have like a new like title for like maybe the same.
That's what I hope they do it.
And I don't know how. So I'm watching it on Hulu. As I rewatched seasons 1 and 2 so far, the title screen. Sometimes it's the real hard, screechy,
Yes,
industrial sound.
it changes.
Sometimes it's really subdued
Right,
and it's almost non-existent. So I don't know if that was how it originally aired or.
No, it did.
yeah,
And we commented on that too.
We used to make fun of it back and forth every week.
I mean, sometimes making fun, but sometimes I note how effectively it actually makes sense this week.
It's true, yeah.
Right,
yeah.
Or that the music does actually fit the tone of the episode.
Like, didn't we come to the conclusion when it didn't do the screech, it was a good episode? Like, didn't there was some correlation when there was no screech, somebody died, or it was
that was like a short-lived theory.
oh,
Like,
yeah,
I-
sorry, it was a while ago. I'm sorry.
Yeah, then it got weird.
Yeah. So Snake bites Leland as he searches for the keys. Morgan charges at a rooftop sniper and gets shot in the leg. He then fights the sniper with a stick. This foe dangles from the roof as an infected snap at him below. Morgan saves him, but the shooter tackles him. They fall through the roof and land on the floor. Infected devour the sniper. Morgan finds a grenade and pulls the pin, then takes cover in the bathtub. It's actually pretty cool. The grenade explodes, and then Morgan lifts out of the trailer. Like, ain't no thing. It's like, it's a little grenade, but I'm fine. Yeah,
That's the kind of thing. That's the kind of cool stuff that this show, that any show needs, though, where it's like a building full of walkers, he jumps in a bathtub and it blows. And you
you
see
go to the roof. I mean, it's like,
It
yeah,
was great. It was great.
But you see like outside as it blows up, it's like all the guts come out the window.
It's
And
awesome.
stuff. It's like, yeah, this is
Yeah.
cool action.
that's what we needed, right?
You should have said, you know what it is? I don't mother effing die.
That's how we do it. That's how we do it in Georgia. That's how we
That's
do
right.
it.
That's right.
So guys, I have talking about this show compared to The Walking Dead.
We predicted this though. You guys were laughing at me. I said, guys, what if Fear is actually better than The Walking Dead? You're like, and now look what happens. You see?
Yeah, that's because it ain't Fear the Walking Dead. They made a whole new show.
Well, don't worry about that. That's all right.
This was Fringe The Walking Dead.
Last time I have this much emotion about Fear the Walking Dead.
So Althea sprints to the truck. Leland slams the door in her face and tells her the keys didn't work. She goes, "That's because it's my footlocker."
I like that. Smart. That was smart.
John shoots at Leland. Althea escapes as Leland kind of like rolls into the truck and then gets devoured by the infected. Then guns the infected with a squat machine gun, which is pretty cool. So she gets in the truck and I knew we were gonna see these guns fire at one point, right? So then,
Oh yeah, you had to.
I'm surprised they didn't hit either Morgan or John, but I mean that's pretty
They didn't hit them and got a headshot on every single other walker that was there.
Pretty impressive.
Yep.
That's true.
Because you know what? That dude don't die either, I guess, right now. I like it. I like that they don't have to try to make everybody ordinary. You know, like every character was just okay, ordinary. They didn't want to make them exceptional.
See,
I
and
don't
we
care
said
about
that. We even, this is funny, going back to the old tropes we had about Fear the Walking Dead. Remember we said everybody had, like, on the original show, had their special skill, right? Like, Michelle had a sword, and Rick was a cop, and, you know, that's what made them survive. It's like, and in Fear, nobody had anything. It was just people. Like, it was like people that happened to make it. Like, Madison didn't have any special skill. That made her survive. She was a guidance counselor, right? So it's like, now it feels more comfortable to us. Okay, the people that we're seeing on screen right now all have their special skills. John is a gunfighter. He's a gunslinger, right? It's like, you know, Morgan is freaking Jedi. I mean, he's got that, you know, he's,
Exactly.
you know,
Exactly.
and this
He's a
girl's got a SWAT,
samurai.
right?
He's a
Yeah.
samurai.
He's a samurai. She's got a freaking SWAT truck. I mean, that's,
Right.
that's what you go, right?
I mean, even regardless of like what special abilities they have, I mean, look at like season 2's premiere of The Walking Dead, where they're on that highway,
Right.
and it's like there's a lot of cool action going on, but it's not because they have special skills that makes it cool. It's just it's well done. And
Yeah.
it's leading with character. This episode of Fear the Walking Dead leads with character. We know who these people are because of how they set them up. It
True.
builds up to this great action.
Well, I think
sequence.
by special skill, I think that for them that gives them something to write about. It excites the writers as well. Like it's not
For
even
sure,
just special skill, but giving everybody a type of personality. Like she's a journalist, also. Like that's her thing. That gives her a nice little
She's a podcaster.
talk through. Yeah, basically. I mean, yeah.
And I agree, but I think where Fear suffered is that they did that without continuing with that. We have
Right, exactly.
Madison's he's a smart guidance counselor. Cliff Curtis, he's the peacekeeper. He's
He occasionally goes crazy. Goes,
Nick's a drug addict. Alicia's like she's young and she's naive about things. Like those things you can, regardless of how it sounds, you can lead strand to strand. I mean, those things you can lead with them, but they chose not to. They just chose to go plot first, character second, and you can tell it's just like it goes all over the place.
That's
Yeah,
right.
they play with it because Strand's the grifter and one's the wild card drug addict, and you know.
Because they don't spend enough time with them, it's not
Yeah.
consistent. So it's just kind of fun because you don't have a thing to stick with. And since it's not a comic, you don't have anything that knowledge to back yourself up with. It's like at least I know how they're supposed to be. You're just
Right.
like just a random people I don't really care about that much, except they're supposed to survive. So I guess I want to root for them. So yeah, it just doesn't go anywhere. This it's like okay, we've introduced 3 main characters. I know what they're supposed to be doing. It works for at least this episode.
We'll see
They're
how
all
it goes.
interesting. They're all interesting. They all have plot hooks,
Yeah.
character interest, and they're all like more people that we want to learn more about. You know, I mean, you want to learn about John Dory's girlfriend. You want to learn how Allie, this journalist, got this like sweet SWAT truck.
Right.
And how she's able to use it. You know, and
Like I don't care about the family showing up. To be honest, like I don't. I think to be honest, I like these 3 characters. If they just continue with these three
the rest of
characters,
the dead, they're gone.
I would watch it. I would still watch it. They wouldn't stop me from.
So what you're saying is that they should have created a new show called The Walking Dead: Morgan or whatever. Morgan's
Yeah,
story. He's
listen,
fine. You're fine with it.
I'd be
right now.
fine with it.
Yeah,
I'd be fine with it.
Morgan's journey or something like that. Okay, fine. That's it.
Yeah.
So Morgan, John, and Althea get back on the road. Althea informs them that the white numbered flags they've seen appearing in the area, but they don't know what it is. There's one of them attached to the top of one of the trailers that they were nearby. Althea points out that Morgan still owes her an interview. So Morgan's like, okay, fine, pull this rig over. I'll give you an interview. He wants to get out of there. So he's shot. He's still shot in the leg at this point. He just wants to go. He can't
He's
be
like a
around
trapped
people.
animal. Like that's the Morgan we're at again. Like he's like a trapped animal. Doesn't want to sit in one place too long. Doesn't want to be around people too much.
And I love this point point of view freaking video they shoot of him. It's perfect. You can see these guys cracked up. Althea interviews Morgan on the side of the road. Morgan reveals that he came from Atlanta. He used to belong to several settlements.
He says, I lose people and then I lose myself.
Yes, and then walks off. That's how he ends. That's more Morganese, right? Yeah.
There's a moment before this where they talk about what they all call the zombies, and I like this because it's like she calls them the dead. John calls them the past. That's really cool.
Yeah,
that was a really cool way to go. And then Morgan's like, we call them walkers. So it's like
which is a great callback to the first episode of The Walking Dead. Like, that wasn't a man, that was a walker. Like, that was, it's perfect. Actually, I think it's great.
I like the past. That's a cool way to refer to the past.
Yeah.
He's a cowboy, man. He's got that. It's a poetic
swagger, right?
side to him. He's got that poetic side to him a little bit.
Steel horse he rides.
So he explains that again before he gets to that line. Though, he explains that his people battled a large group and won. When Althea asks why he left the group, and Morgan gets up to go. He doesn't want to answer any more questions. But Althea demands an answer, and then that's what he says. Aaron, he says, "I lose people, then I lose myself," and then walks off. We've heard him say over. If we can cobble together all his statements over the last several seasons, he said that before. It's nothing new. That's Morganese, right there. Morgan hobbles down the road because he literally shot in the leg. He recognizes an abandoned car, which is the same one he knocked out before. He of course has to check it out, see if the guy's still in there. He then sees an infected man walking up ahead. He starts to walk after that man, but trips while trying to escape two infected. Little not like Morgan there, but John shows up and stabs the infected. John helps Morgan catch up to the infected man because Morgan just has to know if that's the guy. Of course it is. I don't know why Morgan was so attached to this guy.
I like this because I like for one thing that he tells John's like, I have to see this, and John's like, all right. So he helps with the walk there. And he just needs to see. I think he's reckoning with this whole like being alone thing, but meeting people that are actually helpful and willing to be involved in my life in some way, and maybe I can go with them for a while at least. And the idea of seeing another person that he couldn't help save, it's like he just emphasizes like, well, what am I doing here? What am I going to do? Am I going to be this guy that's on his own? Am I going to try to care for people? Is that going to go anywhere for me? So it like I think thematically works for who Morgan is. I can give him a break on the whole like he gets kind of fouled by a couple walkers that are coming after him. Like he could take care of this in his sleep. But
it didn't take me out of it. It just was a little odd for him. He's usually a little bit more like deliberate than that. But
I think it makes up just because the emotion that he's going through as far as I need to see this guy and know if I could have done something, but he gave up on me. And then that guy reflects him because that guy gave up on life. Essentially, he died. So it's like, does Morgan want to be that guy? Does Morgan want to be the guy that doesn't ask for any help and then dies and just walks on the road alone?
That's a good call. Good corollary there. Morgan sees that the wounded man who he tried to help earlier he did turn. He kills the man, then buries the body in the woods, which that's a lot of work for that one dude. I mean, that was. But I guess like you said, I can see the correlation there.
Yeah.
Back in the truck, Morgan insists that he's only traveling with John and Althea until his leg heals. So he realizes he can't be on the road with his leg in that condition. John explains that they're setting out to find Laura. Okay. Althea sees a woman though crawling on the road. She pulls over and walks up to help the woman. We see it's Alicia, and then she's saying she's mumbling something. It's a man, a bad man. She's saying something to really get her close, to lure Althea close, right?
Let me say this. Okay. So because I saw so many stupid previews for this dumb episode before the damn thing started at the movie theater, I was thinking, well, we don't see